Welcome to Discover Truth Bite-Sized. Today we're carrying on the book of the Acts of the Apostles, and we're in Acts chapter 22 and verse number 7. And I fell onto the ground and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? What was it that had caused Paul to go back in to share his testimony? Why was he telling his story all over again, as he seemed to on so many occasions? Well, Paul had returned back to Jerusalem, and his first trip was down into the temple. But when he was seen by some of the Jews there in the temple, they were enraged, they were infuriated, and they dragged him outside of the temple and they began to beat him. Their plan wasn't just to do him over, their plan was to kill him. It was seen by the soldiers from the castle, the fort of Antonia. Some of those soldiers came rushing down and they intervened. Perhaps it was them who saved the life of Paul. They took Paul and they bound him hand and foot and they took him over to the castle. And as they were taking him into the castle, Paul wasn't afraid for his own soul. He wasn't angry at those who were beating him and who were trying to put him to death. No, his desire was to win them for Christ. He asked could he have opportunity to speak to those who were trying to do him harm. And this caused him to break out into his testimony, because he could understand where they were coming from. In essence, he began to tell them, I was just like you. I was a persecutor of the Christians. I had a desire to round them up and throw them in prison, and I would love nothing more than to see them dead. In fact, you can recall how I went down to Damascus with letters to round up those Christians and to bring them back here, and again have them thrown into prison, to forget about them, to have them exterminated. But on that journey, I had an encounter with the risen Lord Jesus Christ. Yes, I spoke against him. I didn't believe he was who he said he was. I didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah. But then I had an encounter with him. I heard his voice. I heard his voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And that changed everything. I realized that my sinfulness was against him. I realized he was the one, it was his laws that I was breaking. I realized how sinful I was, and I realized that the Lord Jesus Christ was exactly who he said he was all along. He is God. Paul took an opportunity to recount his personal testimony. Perhaps maybe even today, you can be thinking about your own testimony. How the Lord Jesus Christ has shown his grace to you. He has saved and he has changed and transformed you. And maybe that can be the beginning of a witnessing opportunity. Maybe today you could share your testimony with someone else. Maybe you could share it on social media. Or maybe you can just think about how you can be a witness and take opportunity to speak even to those who are looking to persecute you.